Welcome back. I'm Serene Kaplan, and this is the third video in the series on coping under COVID-19. As lockdown continues, we have to pace ourselves and manage our resources as we prepare for the long haul. This stuff is high up on the Richter scale. We are opinion rich and data poor when it comes to knowing how this will pan out. It has winded us. The genie is out the bottle, and when you can't change the direction of the wind, you have to adjust your sails. We have to come to a place of equanimity, a state of calm acceptance where we can cope with things adaptively. Today we are talking self-care and additional strategies which will act as your rudder. At the outset, remember this is not a time for perfection, but for coping. Think of the acronym GEFN, Good Enough for Now. In the first video in this series, I spoke about that black swan, the rare, unpredictable catastrophe that ambushes us. But don't ignore the charging rhino, the more predictable danger that we choose to ignore. That rhino is our mental health. This is a time to drop anchors, finding things that steady us. During stressful times, it is not the grand big things that stabilize us, but creating small habits to ground us. When practiced consistently, these will be a flashlight in the coal mine. Now, the whole thing about self-care and mindfulness has been tossed around lately like a frisbee, and even I find myself feeling a bit saturated with it all. How is taking deep breaths going to help? Snapped one client whose entire business just took a blood bath, and another whose father has been in hospital with the virus for 10 days. But here's the thing, it does help. It helps a lot. Yet most of us are pretty terrible at it. Yet right now, self-care is world care. The truth is that most of us are not even breathing properly right now. When we are stressed, we take shallow, rapid breaths that weaken our nervous systems. So practice taking deep breaths through the nose and out through the mouth in a sequence of 4 breaths in, holding for a count of 7, and then exhaling through the mouth, making a loud whooshing noise as you do so. Then repeat 3 cycles of this. Even the most skeptical scientists have attested to the power of this technique in calming the anxious brain with almost immediate effect. You see, you can't breathe and panic at the same time. So moving on, make sure that your first appointment of the day is with yourself. Create what we call a landing space to start your day off positively. Run, pray, do yoga. As they say on an aircraft, put your oxygen mask on first. You can't keep pouring from an empty cup. If you're a parent, make sure you take care of and look after your children's mother. We tend to externalize where we get comfort and security from, rather than from a secure base inside ourselves. The newsflash is that everything you need right now, you have inside. If you have a critical judge living rent-free in your head, this would be a good time to give him or her their marching orders. This silent critic may be using up precious energy stores and taking up emotional real estate in your head that you could put to far better use. So think about installing a compassionate coach in your head who could advocate for you and be your cheerleader at a time when you need it most. This is not a time for iron-willed, harsh grit, but for self-compassion, treating yourself as you would a best friend. Offer gestures of care to yourself. So give yourself daily shout-outs for all you accomplished, however seemingly small, what I call micro wins. One client I spoke to a little bit before recording this celebrated the small victory of getting out of bed today before 12 p.m. and managing to shave and get out of pajamas for the very first time this week. Our energy stores are finite, so we need to distribute them wisely. Don't channel precious energy to things that don't add value to your life. Customize your energy reserves to what's important to you. We're hearing so much at the moment about having routines and being productive, but also cordon off some unscheduled downtime to just be. We've got a biological need for pleasure and joy. Anxiety and joy can't coexist. They aren't common bedfellows. So plug into what brings you joy. Take comfort breaks. Finding a mental bomb shelter in the face of crisis is an absolute healing balm. Do what soothes your soul. And if you don't know what that is, now would be a good time to find out. Find ways to keep celebrating life. The opposite of depression and anxiety is not happiness, but vitality. This is an analgesic to the grief that we feel. And court hope. That's exactly what we need in these troubled times. Hope is a human requirement. Be an ambassador of hope for yourself, for your family, and for those around you at a time when our hope is being so tested. Now, for good mental health, we have to focus on our veggies. Not the kind you eat, but your victories and your gratitudes. Work out who in the cast of people in your life are contributors or contaminators. Avoid the energy vampires whose negativity is catchy and draining. Review your social network, your circle of care. Sometimes crisis can totally rewrite your address book and show you who matters, who always will, and who never did. This is not a time to go solo. Find your tribe who understand and get you. The worldwide hashtag "We're all in it together" hits bullseye. So don't try paddle your canoe alone. Find safe harbors and your emotional bodyguards. Reach out to a trusted mentor, co-opt a friend, and make sure that you do it often. Then look out for your physical health. Our bodies keep score and present us with the bill. Most people I'm speaking to right now feel tired but wired. Now, sleep is the most sensitive barometer, telling us immediately when everything is not okay. It's the first thing that goes out the window in times of increased stress. Sleep is like the brain's washing machine, and deep restorative sleep will keep us robust. Instead of reaching for the dormicum, practice installing good sleep time rituals. Listen to a Headspace or Sleep Well app. And yes, I know you know the drill, but shut off your screen at least an hour before bedtime and limit binging on news feeds. Now, there are no instant coffee solutions to this intrepid virus. And until a vaccination comes, we have to find emotional vaccinations of our own. Faith is the belief that things will eventually be okay, while trust is the ability to live as if they already are. For now, the end of COVID-19 remains a moving target, and the goalposts keep on shifting. We have to use the Navy SEALs rule, which says that the moment you think you've reached your limit, you're only 40% done, and you still have 60% in your tank. This has been the mother of all plot twists. It's sink or swim, and sometimes strong is the only choice we have. So find some meaning and some purpose. It is critical to survival. Viktor Frankl says that when you are no longer able to change a situation, you are challenged to change yourself. There is an infodemic out there, yet we still don't have all the answers. Instead, we have to ask ourselves the right questions. How could I make this worse? And then do the exact opposite. Do a stock take, an inventory on what's helping you now and what's holding back your progress. Ask yourself, is this helping me or harming me? And then vacuum clean any pollutants or toxins that are mitigating against your good mental health. Don't ask, why has this happened? But what am I supposed to learn now that it has? What do I want to keep from this experience? And what do I want to discard? Healing is not only about recovery, it's about discovery. The number one skill that helps people cope in challenging times is trading rigidity with flexibility. This is a hallmark feature of resilience. A magic formula for resilience is having an outward pessimism which says, this is hard, but an inward optimism which says, it is tough, but I can handle it. Rudyard Kipling, the poet laureate, captures it so perfectly. If you can keep your head while all those around you are losing theirs, you'll be doing well. After the tsunami in 2004, we were left picking up the pieces of debris off the beaches for the longest time. And so too will the aftermath of COVID-19 cast a long shadow. Do the forensics on your coping as we come to the end of this 3-part series. The buzzword out there is how to pivot your business, but we have to pivot ourselves too. The saying goes, don't waste a good crisis. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. We know this will pass. Be your own CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. Make sure that your story is one not of post-traumatic stress, but post-traumatic recovery. There will be casualties of epic proportions. We know this, but we have to make sure that our mental health is not one of them. Maya Angelou is a favorite author of mine, and I'd like to say goodbye in this final video in the series, leaving you with her words. She says, do the best that you can until you know better. And then, when you know better, do better. I'd like to sign off with a blessing to all of us for wellness, for safety, and for good leadership of our minds. Thank you.